Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and give a warm round of applause to Rajula Gupta.
As we get started, I really need the audience to wake up, so I'm going to do a small exercise. Look at your neighbor, and if he's sleeping, please raise your hand. I saw a few people sleeping, so raise your hand. There's a prize. Nobody? Everyone's awake? Okay, that's good. So you guys all had a nice lunch downstairs. I think the chana masala was outstanding. But there was one thing missing. Can anybody guess? Ice cream, sweets, dessert. So there was no dessert. So I thought I'll bring some dessert. So who are the ones that really crave a dessert? Raise your hands. That's it? Wow. I can take some chocolates back home here. So can I request, keep your hands up. You're going to get chocolates to wake you up. So Waldo's going to go around distributing chocolates. So let's talk about food. Okay? Yeah, that's okay. Let's talk about food. Now you must wonder, what the hell has food got to do with focus? And I'll explain. So I'm going to tell you my Greek fast food story. So I have lived in Vancouver, Canada for about 10 years, and like a lot of people in this audience, my secret dream was to own my own restaurant. You know, we all think just because we cook well or we eat well, we become foodies, and one day we want to open a restaurant. So I was one crazy guy like that. And I wanted to open a Greek fast food restaurant. Simple reason, I love Greek food. Easier said than done. So Vancouver, Canada, for those of you who may have been there, only has a population of 2 lakh people. That's less than the population of Margao. But it has 300 Greek fast food restaurants. Okay? Greek restaurants. They're not fast food, Greek restaurants. And in this crowded marketplace, there are other restaurants also. People eat other food there. I wanted to open a Greek restaurant, but I did not want to be 301 Greek restaurant. So I went to every single one of those 300 restaurants as part of my research to find out what is it that people were eating, why were 300 restaurants in a population of 2 lakh still in business, and what was so unique about certain dishes in Greek food. So after that big exercise, you can see the effect of it is still here, eating at 300 restaurants. I decided to open a Greek fast food restaurant, which nobody had ever opened or thought of in Vancouver. When there are 300 regular restaurants, who cares about fast food? Second thing, all those 300 Greek restaurants were run by Greek people. I mean, you know, an Indian would run an Indian restaurant, a Greek would run a Greek restaurant. And here I was, an Indian who wanted to run a Greek restaurant. So as part of my research, I went to the Greek community there, and they were in shock. They were in shock because I was trying to do something they wouldn't dream that anybody would do. And after the shock came the concern. And the concern was, what if I make a really big mess of it and give Greek food a bad name? So they were nice enough to all rally behind me. And I had some of the best Greek chefs in Vancouver come and teach me how to make the 8 dishes that I was going to offer a fast food restaurant. Now this is where the power of focus comes in. I had a small fast food place in a business building in the downtown core of the business district in Vancouver, where the business was exactly 90 minutes. From 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. is when everybody had their lunch. So I had 90 minutes to feed, and my target was 200 people. So imagine in 90 minutes, 200 people would come to my fast food, pick up their order, and leave. Believe me, it's 5 times faster than McDonald's will ever become. And thanks to the Greek community, I was actually able to achieve that target in the first week of operation. In 90 minutes, it's unimaginable. It's more than 2 customers a minute. I was serving 8 dishes to 90 people, to 200 people in 90 minutes. So that's how the power of focus comes into play. Because there are 500 Greek dishes, and researching them brought me down to the 8 most popular and tasty, and those that could be made easily and served easily. And of course, as we all know, the number one problem that restaurants face is getting a good cook. So I decided to cook myself, being the entrepreneur that I am. So that's the story about my Greek food business. But we are going to continue talking about food. And why? Because food is one area where the 10 successful restaurants out of every 100 achieve that is because of focus. So, how many of you are from Margao? Can you raise hands? Excellent. Majority of audience. So, how many of you have eaten bhaji at Tato's? Excellent. So, little history about Tato's. It's 70-year-old business. They have about 120 dishes on their menu, but their busiest time is in the late afternoon, early evening, where all of us go to eat our favorite evening snack, the bhaji. And they have perfected the art of serving the 6 different types of bhaji that they offer on their menu. Now, how have they been able to do that? It's very simple. They have focused on those 6 items, perfected the taste based on customer feedback over the years, kept the price low, kept the quality consistent, and hence they have us as their customers week after week, month after month, year after year. So that's a great example of focus. Now, one thing I've noticed having moved to Goa in the last year and a half is a lot of people like to go home to eat lunch. And their staple food is fish curry rice, which incidentally, in most cases, is cooked by their mothers. So we all love mom's cooking, right? Why do you think we love mom's cooking? Why do you think we want to go back home every afternoon and eat the exact same fish curry rice day in and day out? Back to the same principle of focus. Your mother has perfected the art of making that fish curry every single day. The fish might change, but the taste of that fish curry remains the same. And that taste embedded in our systems. Nothing but the power of focus in play. Let's take a final example when it comes to food. There's a new kid in town, and his name of his business is Moog. How many of you have gone to Moog? Okay. So, just for your information, there are over 200 bakeries in Margao. So, when Chef Bernard decided to open Moog, the question was, what is the one thing that would make people come to Moog versus go to a pastry palace or go to a canapé or go to another local bakery shop to pick up their cake? So, he perfected the art of and focused on, and he calls his business the Cake Studio. So if you see a picture of anything on the internet in real life and you want that picture to look like your birthday cake, guess what? He can make it. And that is his focus. So you see, we've got 3 examples of local businesses that use the power of focus every single day to have us as their regular customers. It sounds too simple, doesn't it? It actually is that simple. To demonstrate the power of focus amongst all of you, I'm going to do a small exercise. So I'm going to pick 10 volunteers. Now this exercise has to do with all of you focusing, listening. So I'm going to pick 10 people, and I need those 10 people to stand up, and then I will explain what the game is. So let's get you to stand up, ma'am. How about you, madam? Please stand. Yes, you. That's right. Can I get you to stand, please? Yes, you. You. Yep. Please stand. How about you, sir? Please stand. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5 more. Any volunteers? Anybody who wants to play this mystery game? Nobody wants to volunteer. Okay, there you go. 1 more. Okay, stand. Go ahead, stand. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one side. So I need 2 more on this side. 2 more? Anyone from this side? No, you're too close. How about you, ma'am? And 1 more lady from the back row. How about you, ma'am? Yes, you. Go ahead, stand. Okay, so this is a very simple game. Okay, really, really simple. When I point at you, that particular volunteer, you're going to give me 1 word associated with food. So it could be anything. It could be chicken, it could be bhajia, it could be bhaji, it could be biryani. You get the point. But 1 word, not 2 words. Okay, so you're going to give your word, and then when I point to the next person, that person has to repeat that word and add his food word to it. And so shall the chain continue. So whoever gets picked last has to be able to focus, listen, and remember all the 9 words before he or she adds the 10th word. Okay? So it's food, so it should be simple and easy, but it requires focus. So let's start with you, sir. 1 word.
Biryani.
Biryani, okay. You, ma'am.
Biryani, pani puri.
Okay. You, sir.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate.
Okay. You, sir.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy.
Okay. You, sir.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy. Spicy, right? Spicy. Mushrooms.
Okay. I hope everyone's listening. Okay. You, ma'am.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy, mushroom, pastry.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Last lady. Go for it.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy, mushrooms, ice cream, paneer.
No? You get 1 more chance. 1 more chance.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy, mushroom, pastry, and paneer. Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spicy, mushroom, pastry, paneer.
And your word.
Chapati.
Excellent. Great. Go for it, sir.
Biryani, pani puri, spicy, chocolate, biryani, pani puri,
Silence, please.
biryani, pani puri, spicy, chocolate, pastry, mushroom, paneer, chapati, and my word, Loki.
Loki. Very North Indian Loki. Okay, great. So who's left? Go for it, ma'am.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spice, mushroom, pastry, paneer, chapati, lauki, apple.
Apple. Okay, final.
Biryani, pani puri, chocolate, spice, mushroom, pastry, paneer, chapati, roti.
No prompting, please.
Apple pie.
Sorry. Pepper. So did she get it right? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for participating. And each one of you gets not one but 2 chocolates. Please share one with your neighbor, especially if that neighbor was secretly prompting you. So what did we just learn? Okay, we learned the power of focus. And there is a specific technique that works really well in this game. And that technique is when the person is speaking, you memorize the word that they are speaking about before you move on to memorize the word of the next person. And you have to be really focused when it comes to playing this. It's a simple game. I suggest you try this at home. It works really, really well. So now let's come back to the topic of focus. You know, why should we focus? Yeah, go ahead. Okay. How do we focus? There are 3 ways to focus, to put it really simply. The first one is set yourself an easy target. You know, the 2 speakers before lunch were really thrashing the word goal. So I decided let's not use the word goal because everybody seems to be preaching don't have goals in life. Target, I think, sounds much easier. So the first thing is whatever it is that you choose to do in life, whether it's work, whether it's business, whether it's a date you want with that girl or that boy that you've seen, whether you want to buy yourself something and you're saving money for it, whatever it is, set yourself an easy target. The more easy the target, the better the sense of achievement. And an easy target also helps you to focus. The second most important thing, create a system. Why is this important? It's important to achieve the most important factor in success, and that's consistency. It's only a system that helps you achieve consistency. And once again, the reason why I say create a system and not say have a goal and then work towards achieving it is because when we set goals, they may be realistic, they may be unrealistic. And a lot of times when we don't achieve those goals, we become frustrated, we become disheartened, and we give up. So instead of trying to focus on a goal as a marker for achievement and success, create a system. Tatos, your mother, and Moog have created a system. And they use that system day in and day out to get the same consistency in food that you expect when you go to them. So creating a system is much more important than setting yourself a goal and hoping or working towards achieving it. If you create a system, you don't need any more goals in your life, because the system will take care of every single goal that comes in your path. And finally, live in the present. This is something which has been mentioned by speakers in the morning session. We really are caught up with our past. Either we blame our past, or we reflect on our past, or our past holds us up for anything that we want to achieve. So it's really important to focus on the present, because it's really only the present that's in your control. The past is not in your control, and nor is the future. But the present is definitely in your control. What you do when you wake up in the morning, every single action that you do that day is in your control. So anything you want to achieve, any system you want to create, any target that you've set yourself, that you're working on, that you know you can achieve, it's today that matters. And more than even today, it's now that matters. If you find yourself at any given moment in the present day, drifting, daydreaming, or being distracted by all the distractions that we have around us, come back to the present and ask yourself at that very moment, what is it that you're doing? Are you working at that moment to achieve that easy target? Are you working that very moment to create the system? And there are examples all around us. For example, in college, there was that one guy who could get a date with any girl he wanted. And we would all be envious. Do you know why he would succeed? Not because he was, really smart or that he was very handsome. It's because he had a system. And that system worked consistently every single time.
Sir, what is that system?
It's too late to ask.
The answer to that question, no. The answer to that question lies with his friend who was that Casanova. So he should go back to his friend, the guy that he would always look at and wonder, how does this guy get the dates with all the girls? He should go and ask him, Are Baba, what is your system?
Great one of yours.
See, assumptions, presumptions. The audience is alive. I don't know what is it about, girls and dating that the men suddenly wake up. I bet you some of them have been married for a long time, So let's come back to our focus. So our focus was, how do we focus? So these are 3 simple ways that we can use in everyday life to focus on what we want to achieve. Now, let's talk about what do you get if you focus. 3 very simple, easy benefits of focus. Clarity of thought. Coming back to the girl example, one of the things women hate about us men is they always see, this guy is confused. He doesn't know what he wants. The biggest single mistake a man can make is to ask a girl, where do you want to have dinner tonight? Chinese? Indian? They like men who can take the decision. Today I'm going to take you out to eat Chinese food. You see? Clarity of thought. Again, it's part of the system. When you focus, you get clarity of thought. Quick decisions, that's another one. Those Casanovas, they go up to the girl, look her straight in the eye, and say, I'd like to take you out for Chinese tonight. Would you like to come? The success rate of that question so far in my observation has been 90%. Pretty good. I mean, she may not like him, she may have never thought of him. But imagine, who's she to refuse? She'd be more than happy for, someone to take her out for dinner. And that too Chinese. Now, if the man is smart, he'll research and investigate that she likes Chinese food. That's part of the system. See? Clarity of thought and quick decisions are the benefits of focusing. And of course, finally, he is the only guy that has the peace of mind because the girl's going on a date with him while the other guys are looking and saying, "To kashi karta? Mata khabar na hai." So you see, ladies and gentlemen, focus is not a big word. It's not a big thing. It's something very simple that we unknowingly practice every day in our lives. We are already doing this. However, we are too distracted by all the other things that life throws at us. We get distracted by the gossip, we get distracted by the media, we get distracted by a small incident that happens on the street, and we lose our focus. And so it's really important to practice very small things to achieve those little targets that ultimately will give you the feeling of satisfaction and the power of success. I've defined this in a very simple thing. The 5 letters of focus simply stand for follow one course until successful. So you see that Casanova, he focuses on one girl at a time. I'm sure you noticed that. He sets himself that target. This week I want to take her out. And he keeps focusing on her. Whether he does his research, whether he's busy creating the system, but he focuses on her. And 9 out of 10, by the end of the week, she's out on a date with him to her favorite Chinese restaurant. So it's as simple as this. Practice this every single day in your life. And you will soon realize that the favorite word of all our friends, all our family, all our enemies is the word impossible. When you go up to them and you say, I want to do this or I want to achieve that, or you're sharing with the Casanova that, you know what, don't date her, I want to date her, and he says, impossible. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? No chance. So we are so used to the word impossible being thrown at us. But if you look closely and if you focus on the word impossible, it simply says, I am possible. You see, the answer is in the question if you just focused on the word. And finally, I want to leave all of you wonderful Goans with one thought. How many of you visited the beach in the last 3 days. Now you see, this is a tragedy of mammoth proportions, because a majority of you have not visited the one thing that the rest of this country, the rest of this world wants to come to Goa for, and that is to see this. This happened 3 days ago at Benaulim Beach, which is where I go every evening at 5:30 for my walk to see the sunset. You see, this puts everything in perspective for us. It's one place where we can go away from the noise, go away from all our distractions, and simply focus on the beauty of nature that is right before our eyes in the city we live in, and that can put everything in perspective for us. So I urge all of you, try and go to that wonderful beach at least once a week. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.